has quickly become one of my favorite journals. I had so much fun filling it out in 2024 and I just can't wait to set it up for 2025, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's start with the title page. Last year I kind of skipped this as I didn't really need one, but now I do as we're venturing out in the new year and I want to subtly, but not subtly at all, mark which year of books this is. I can't believe it's 2025 though, madness. I've thought of using my scrapbook paper for the title page here, but it turned out it's too small for my journal. So instead, I cut out a small piece for the title in the middle. These papers came from Planeting's subscription box that was book themed, and I also used my Studio Calico number step to stamp out 2025 here, and I think this looks great. I'm actually not that bothered about the white frame. I think it adds to it as well. Next page is meant to be my bookshelf, and I found my book stamp for this. Initially, I thought just to stamp out the bookshelf as some sort of a washi or a marker for the shelves and books on top, but I didn't think it'd be enough books. And then I saw this leftover piece of scrapbook paper, so I thought might as well use it to tie it all together and stamp around as a modern shelf of sorts, you know, modern art. I took a little bit of time to figure out how to stamp it so it fits all my books I want to read, at around 60 of them. I thought to use my other stamps to fill in the bit at the top, but it looks so much better in my mind with that book lover stamp. Really not thrilled at all how that turned out. So used a little bit of washi to cover it up. A little bit of a shame though, ruined the whole aesthetic, even with washi. I could have probably just stamped more books on top there. That would have been better. I used a tiny bit of sticker paper to put under the bookshelf sticker from Live Live Posh, just, you know, if needed an explanation of what this was. Next, we have a Goodreads tracker, and for this I wanted some colorful stickers just so I can lots of colors to color in my genres for each book. I went with 60 book slots as that will be my reading goal for the year, and I hope that'll be enough. For my genres, I chose the ones I tend to read the most. That's biographies. I love listening to celebrity memoirs on Audible. Then thrillers, adventure stories, health and fitness, history, historical fiction, popular romance, aka Colleen Hoover, and also I've not read any fantasy or smut yet, but I have loads of them on my recommendations list, so I thought these would be great to go in there too. I hope I like them. I added a bit of washi here too, just to fill in that space at the bottom. Next page is book Tetris. I saw this on Pinterest and I thought that's a great idea, and it'll go well with all the colors on the Goodreads tracker too. I haven't played Tetris in a long while, but it does make me nostalgic for it. I had to short in my categories for this and put thriller, fantasy, smut, adventure or health and fitness, biographies and history, and others. I think this will be so fun to fill. I've not counted how many little squares there are or anything. We'll just have to see. We'll play it by ear. Next challenge I just had to have is an A to Z challenge. I had such a fun time with this year. Towards the end of the year, I would just choose the books from my to be read list on Goodreads to match the letters, and I had to venture out and look for some titles too. I found one for Z and one for V, and Vicious for V turned out to be such a great read. This year I conveniently skipped Q and X, but I decided to step up my game and add them onto the 2025. I know a book as a contender for Q already, but not for X yet. Let me know if you have any recommendations. Maybe Elon will write a book containing X somehow. Fingers crossed! Next, there's my book bingo. I've not had this one this year as I set up my journal a bit late and didn't think about it, but definitely want another fun challenge to find some random books and titles and add them on here. I maybe should have left some space for the titles, I'm not sure. I know I want them added on now that I have the setup to see which book completed the prompt. Love that this divider I'm using as a ruler has these rounded corners. It came in handy with this journal. For my challenges, I've partly stolen them from the other bingos I've seen. I've got 2025 release, book from my favorite author, Goodreads 2024 winner, recommended by a friend, book by 2 authors, 1 word title, book talk recommendation, magazine, reread book, unknown author book, book adapted for a movie, 4.4 and more stars on Goodreads, award winner, Holocaust book, unknown history book, by which I mean a book about some bit of history I've not heard much about. Like this year, I read about Japanese human experiment unit. I have a childhood nostalgia book, favorite book, which I put by mistake, but whatever. Protagonist isn't human book, shock and twist book, part of series book, and finish in a day. So excited for those and seems totally doable. Next, we have a few pages with all the book covers and their star ratings. Last year I made them a bit less narrow and it was hard to cut bits off to print it, so this year I extended them a little bit, aka made them a bit taller, the little book covers. I've added the star rating stickers underneath here. I've made space for 60 books and I hope it'll be enough, as this year I've been ahead of my 50 book challenge most of the year and was having to slow down to be mindful of the spaces I left in my journal. So next year I have 60, and if it's not enough, I'll just add a few more as like a little extension. I'm using the same stickers and my little font throughout to keep a bit of a consistent look. For next year, I've joined a book club, which I'm super excited about. I definitely want to stick with it. They have great marketing graphics, so I printed them off on cardboard to make it into kind of like a sticker paper. They sent a little sticker and bookmark with the book too, which I wanted to add here but couldn't figure out how. I've added spots for all 12 books for the year, but I've accidentally made the lower row bigger. Whoopsie. I tried to stamp the months on the line for the lower section to help with that. I have to say I struggled with this a bit and the inconsistencies didn't help. I hope it'll still be a beautiful page once I have all the books on here. We shall see. Excited to have a space for the books we read in the book club. I'm sure it's gonna be really fun. Next, I just had to have a book bracket to figure out my favorite book. Last year I made it using both pages, but it looked a bit funny with so much space in between, so this year I decided to cram it into one. I miscalculated a few rows here and there, and I'm never good at making these templates. Always miscalculate something or draw an imperfectly straight line. I had to cram it quite lightly, but I loved the look of it much more, even with the unstraight lines. It's such a fun exercise to figure out your favorite book of the year. You just choose the favorite of the month and trust the process. Since the other page was left empty, I thought it'd be fun to use it for something related like yearly stats. I'll maybe note pages read and hours listened and maybe books read or something along those lines. I started this from the bottom and again miscalculated a bit how big the columns will be, so ended up with all this space at the top, but luckily found these longer bookshelf stickers from the same sticker book and I love the look of this. Just lettered a year in a glance at the top and a little monthly abbreviations for each column. I do love stats, what can I say? Now the last 2 pages I wanted to dedicate to have a physical to be read list. One page will be for series and one for the standalone books. I have a couple on my list for my favorite author books from the previous year, which still stands, but I want to add a few more authors here, and also it's sometimes a bit annoying to go through the Goodreads to be read list to choose my next book, so I'd rather have it all in one list. I'm just so excited to start the new year of reading. I've been enjoying this journal so much and it's going to be amazing to have a fun new set of trackers to fit in as well. It's always my favorite part about reading a book. I can hardly wait until the end of the month. Do you guys keep a reading journal? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, you might also want to check this one out. That's my last year's reading journal setup. Same journal. Thank you so much for watching and I shall see you in my next craft session.